Welcome into Week 15. You're looking live at Davis Mills, one of two quarterbacks that will be playing for the Houston Texans today as they prepare for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. It'll be Mahomes' first NFL game back in his home state of Texas. He grew up in Tyler, Texas, just a few hours away. And the Texans want to make sure that the Chiefs don't clinch the AFC West with a win today. It'll be Mills and Driscoll taking snaps at quarterback, and a bunch of reshuffling on the offense as the Texans have a number of players that were banged up after last week's game. We're going to get into that. We're going to get you ready for today's game with the top storylines. We're going to answer fan questions and more. Texans Unlimited Live, presented by Verizon, starts now.
Welcome to our coverage of Houston Texans football.
Keep it real simple. Right pass and shoot.
Let's go, Texans! Let's go!
Welcome into Texans Unlimited Live, presented by Verizon. I'm DP Sidhu with my good friend Drew Doherty. It's Week 15. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes' debut in Texas, and we have a number of former Texans in the building. It's homecoming day. Lots of legends. Andre Johnson's going to be banging the drum. And
wait, it's homecoming. Where's your mums? Where's my guard? We should have brought.
I didn't get a mum. I didn't want to be.
It's not a
down
true
by
Texans homecoming.
Yeah,
is it?
we left that one at home, but it's a big game for the Texans nonetheless. They want to play spoiler to a Chiefs team that is on a roll. They want to lock up the AFC West with a win today, and they're going to have to do it with Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll.
Yes, they are. You bring up a team that's on a roll. The Chiefs, the Dolphins. I think, along with the Bills, those are three teams that the Texans have seen two of them that they could be hoisting that Lombardi Trophy in a few months. They are excellent. They've got maybe the best player in the game, one of the best players of the last 20 years, maybe one of the best of all time, and Patrick Mahomes is here. So, yeah, the task is tall, the challenge is big, but as we saw last week, the Texans were so close to finishing off a very, very good Cowboys team. Can they make that happen today? And I know you've got some storylines to cover, and we've got some storylines to cover with that in mind.
Absolutely. Let's get into some of your quick hits presented by BMW. Lots of positives to take away from that Cowboys game. One negative, Dameon Pierce suffered an ankle injury, an ankle sprain that landed him on IR. The Texans' run game is going to have to get off the ground today without their leading rusher. He led all rookies in rushing yards as well. Head coach Lovie Smith talked about what it's going to take to get that ground game going and who might be involved in it.
As a general rule, it's hard to get three running backs involved. And for us, we've been really kind of focusing in on, I think it's sometimes hard to get one running back involved. But you mentioned Rex, you mentioned Dare. Both of those guys have had success in the league. It's the reason why they've dressed every game when they've been healthy. So you start with those two options. I mean, it's safe to say that those guys will be a part of what we're going to do running game-wise. And we looked, for other options.
Well, the Texans caught everyone by surprise, especially the Dallas Cowboys, when they rolled out their two-quarterback offense last week in Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll. Expect more of that today. Jeff Driscoll activated. He's placed on the active roster from the practice squad. Offensive coordinator Pep Hamilton talked about what the inspiration was behind employing a two-quarterback offense.
We talked about it as a staff, just what can we do to give us a spark, to really help us on first and second down, just to create conflicts for the opponent, create conflicts for the defense, to find ways to run the ball so that we can stay out of the dreaded third and longs, and so it was good to see both Davis and Jeff, go out and at times, really do a good job of executing the offense.
Well, the Texans will have to prepare for one quarterback, a tall Chask, in facing Patrick Mahomes. He's the NFL's leading passer. He did throw 3 interceptions last week against Denver, but he's got 33 touchdowns, just 11 interceptions on the season. And Malik Collins on the Texans D-line talked about what a challenge facing Mahomes is going to present for this Texans defense.
He's got to be willing to rush and, stay in your rush. He's a guy to extend a lot of plays, so you want to try to keep him in the pocket. But also, he got a big arm, so the pocket might stretch 10 yards deep or, however far. no matter where at. So you got to just make sure you just continue in a rush. You got to have a high motor and just lay it all out there.
That's Malik Collins talking about Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Petrie said it as well. You can prepare for him all you want, those no-look passes, the stuff behind the back, but then when you face him, he's going to do something completely different.
Yeah, he'll run around, he'll find somebody downfield, or he'll find his favorite target, and Travis Kelce, and just kind of zip one to him or flip one to him or behind the back one to. I mean, it's devastating what those two have done together. And, you know, Kelce, he's benefited. Kelce's a phenomenal player. He's also benefited from Mahomes. I mean, he's cranked out 1,000-yard seasons every single year, starting in 2015 through now. So, or starting in 2016 through now. I mean, that's almost unheard of. It's never been done by a tight end before, that many 1,000-yard seasons that consecutively. He's already got 10K career yards. Think about that.
Yeah.
We were talking about Andre Johnson cracking the 10,000-yard mark way back when at the very end of his Texans career, and he's already done it. And it doesn't look like Kelce's going to slow down anytime soon. So big challenge in front of them with those two, but especially with Mahomes and what you're talking about.
12 touchdown catches on the year. Everyone thought without
It's
Tyreek
remarkable.
Hill the Chiefs' offense would be slowed down. It absolutely has not. Let's get into some of your inactives for the Texans. We've been talking about these injuries, and we had a lot of guys that were ruled out Friday, and we mentioned a few of them. Dameon Pierce, Taylor Stallworth, and Derek Stingley, a big one on IR that will not play for the rest of the year. Texans have shut them down, but as far as your rest of inactives, some other big names on there.
Yeah, Pierce and Stingley, stars that you will not see again in their rookie season. And then look at this. This is a star-studded lineup.
Which is not
and normally,
good.
you want to say that about like the ABC Saturday night special, celebrating the holidays. That's not what we're doing today. But Kyle Allen is one of the first names you see there. So you're going to probably get a heavy dose of the dual quarterback system like we thought. And then your two best receivers, Collins and Cooks. Your two corners, Steven Nelson and Stingley. He's not inactive because he's on IR, but Steven Nelson's out. And then one kind of big change that's just kind of popped up this morning is we knew about Kenyon Green being inactive, the left guard, the rookie. But Titus Howard, who plays right tackle, it sounds like he's going to play left guard today in Green's spot. And you'll have Charlie Heck playing and starting at right tackle. And then O.J. Howard, Garrett Wallow not going to suit up either for the Texans. So this is a really, really banged up football team, but that's the NFL at this time of year. You get to Christmas time, there's going to be some key injuries, but the Texans are looking at not having some of their key players today.
Yeah, to have your three of your top
field.
offensive players not playing today, and then your two starting corners not in against one of the league's leading offenses. It's going to be a big challenge. Let's get into some of your fan questions presented by Dyke, and I know people are writing in from everywhere. We heard some big cheers a little while ago. A lot of Texas Tech alumni in the house as well. So they're cheering for Mahomes and the Texans, hopefully. But, Mahomes' first game back here in Texas. Javari in Miami wants to know, what is the offensive game plan today with Pierce being out? And we talked about it a little bit earlier. You've got Dare Gumbawale, and, you've got Rex Burkhead. Royce Freeman was also, placed on the active roster. He was not on the inactives list, so maybe you'll see him as well.
Yeah, the fangs of what has been a tough offense to move the ball this year. It's not saying much, but the fangs of that offense are now out. Dameon Pierce, he's the best player on your offense, and really maybe the best player on the field this year, and you don't have him. So Javari, that's going to hurt. And the Texans will have to adjust. They'll have to spread the ball around. You're getting a look there at number 2 to Tavierre Thomas, and then right before that you saw Jordan Akins. Do the tight ends get more heavily involved than they were last week? They didn't throw the ball too much to those guys. Can Chris Moore replicate what he did last week,
Fantastic
catching the ball?
Game.
But running the ball, you're probably going to get a lot of Dare Gumbawale today and a little bit more of Rex Burkhead than you've had recently.
All right, Logan has a question, a guy that we have not talked about. Logan says, will John Grenard and Jerry Hughes be on the outside? John Grenard, another big story that's sort of been overshadowed by some of the injuries on IR. He goes from IR, and now he's on the active roster, and he's going to play in his first game today since week 4.
It's amazing, DP.
It is. I mean, it's been forever since we've seen John Grenard. A guy that we had a lot of high hopes for was the Texans' leading sack rusher in 2021 with 8 sacks. And just a disappointing campaign for him. Hopefully he can put together some good games, but your thoughts on him? I feel like they're going to still rotate Obo Okoronkwo on the outside there with Jerry Hughes because he's been doing some nice things. And I think that maybe Grenard might be on a little bit of a pitch count today. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, you saying that, it kind of crystallizes things. Week 4, Texans were 0-3-1. So things weren't great, but there was some hope because you'd had some close ones.
Yeah.
Hey, you score here, you score there, and the record's different. And you had Jacksonville coming up. But, yeah, there's been a big gulf in between now and then, and you need guys like Jonathan Grenard. You need a guy who can get to the quarterback. He did it better than anybody else on this team last year. Now, Jerry Hughes has done it the best this year, so maybe he can bottle up some of what we saw there when he was flourishing in 2021 and get it on the field today against Patrick Mahomes, because we've seen Okoronkwo, like you brought up. He's been really good. He's been, he's been getting a lot more time. And then Malik Collins and, of course, Hughes, they can maybe get to the quarterback. And you got to make things tough on Patrick Mahomes. Otherwise, he's going to destroy you.
Absolutely. Jonathan says, what are the advantages of the Texans running a 2-quarterback system? Well, Jonathan, for one, it's fun. It's interesting. We've not seen that before. Nobody's seen that before. Everyone's very curious as to what that might look like. And last week, actually, they split reps down the middle. 32 snaps for Mills, 32 snaps for Driscoll. I don't know if that balance is going to be the same today, but I think what it does is when you don't have a run game in Dameon Pierce, who is your most effective running back, you got to have some other options in the ground game. And I think Jeff Driscoll does that. He's athletic. He can move. He can pass. When he's in the game, you sort of have to prepare for the threat of the possibility of a designed run or a rollout. But I think you just have to prepare for 2 quarterbacks for opposing teams. So it's just more that they have to prepare for, and I think it gives the Texans some more options in the run game.
Yeah, on the optimistic side, everything you said is true. On the pessimistic side, you got to be worried about, okay, well, the cat's out of the bag, and the Cowboys saw that last week, and so did the Chiefs, and they've had a whole week to prepare for it because the Cowboys didn't really think or know, hey, they're going to throw this out there and we're going to see it. Now, you'd seen Driscoll do it in week 1 and week 2 a long, long time ago for a play or 2 per game tops.
Yeah, a little bit of wildcat.
He comes in the first or the second drive and does the whole drive there, and then, like you said, they split the reps totally evenly. So maybe that can hold up and that success can be sustained, but the Chiefs are going to be ready for it. The Chiefs know it's going to be coming, so you got to be ready in that aspect and have little offshoots and little wrinkles of your own.
Let me give you a little advantage as far as fantasy football is concerned.
I like it. What is it?
If you're in a Yahoo league, as am I, Jeff Driscoll is listed as a quarterback/tight end. I'm actually starting him as a tight end today.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
So if there's
is that
time,
Yahoo.com league, or is it just a bunch of Yahoos playing fantasy football?
I'm not a Yahoo playing fantasy football. I might be after
Slid
this
that
game
dad joke in there.
if this doesn't go the way that I planned it. But you can start him as a tight end.
Yep.
All right, Thomas wants to know who will step up at running back for the Texans with Pierce out. We mentioned some of the options. I don't think there's going to be just one leading rusher. I don't think you're going to see a 3-down back today. I think it's going to be a collective effort, but I think that you really got to rely on Driscoll quite a bit.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to. Yeah, he's going to get a lot of carries,
but
I would
Jare
think.
Otherwise.
And then I think if I agree with what you're saying, it's going to be a committee. I think if you were to say who are going to have the most carries and you rank them, I think Ogunbowale will get the most carries. Maybe not by a lot as far as running backs, but
it might be close.
I think Driscoll is probably going to have the most carries out of everybody.
All right, Joe wants to know, what is the key to limiting the Mahomes-Kelsey connection? That is the million-dollar question, Joe. I think that you really got to throw all your resources at Kelsey. You cannot just have one guy covering him. It's just going to have to be a collective team effort. But I think if you can shut down Kelsey, I mean, that's a big part of that offense. And I think when the Texans have won against Mahomes and the Chiefs, it's been when they've been able to hold Kelsey without a touchdown.
Yeah, think about the 15 playoff game that was here.
Yeah.
Chiefs come in, they take the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, and the Texans were never in it. Kelsey had a monster game. So the Texans adjusted the next September when they played him in week 2, and they put A.J. Boye on Kelsey and really frustrated him. Now, there's no A.J. Boye on this team, so I don't know that you're going to see that. But maybe they put a corner on him that stays sticky with him, and that was a long time ago, but they're going to have to get creative if they want to slow that combo down, DP.
Absolutely. All right, well, Steve wants to know, will the Texans utilize their tight ends more today? It's a great question. We saw some interesting formations against Dallas. I was intrigued. Is it called 14 personnel when you've got all 4 tight ends lined up on the field at the same time?
Yeah,
I think most teams don't even have 4 tight ends, and to have 4 on the field at the same time.
And we probably won't.
Something else.
Yeah, probably won't see that today because Howard's inactive. So it's those 3. But yeah, they'll have the the sort of the 4 out on each side and 3 in the middle.
I thought that was pretty
I'm
cool
guessing,
to see.
yeah,
Not that they did much with it in that particular play.
that should be fun to see. But they'll definitely want to get Jordan Akins involved more so than they have last week.
All right, let's get to your sleeper of the game presented by Mattress Firm. I'm going to go first. It's a guy that we mentioned a little bit here in the Q&A. Drew, I think you talked about him. Obo Okoronkwo. He had back-to-back games with a sack versus Deshaun Watson versus Dak Prescott. He's got another mobile, slippery quarterback today in Patrick Mahomes. And I think Obo's going to have a threefer. He's going to do 3 in a row with the sack. So
Ooh, I love it.
I'm going to go Obo.
Give me that. I love it. And I'm going to go with the guy that we were just showing there and just talking about, Jordan Akins. Get him involved, get him down the field, get some explosion out of 88, and good things can happen for this Texans offense because he's been one of the bright spots. There haven't been many when you lose 11 games in a season, but he's been one of the bright spots, and let's see him get bright a little bit more today.
He's made some big catches for this team. It's amazing that he started off on practice squad this year
wild.
because
It's wild.
he worked his way up, and now he's really your top tight end. So it's good to see number 88 back in the fold. Well, the Texans, after today, have just one home game remaining, and that's on New Year's Day against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want to get your tickets, you can go to HoustonTexans.com/tickets. It'd be great to end on a win to keep this Jags-Texans
And start
win
2023 with a little
little
good stuff.
bang.
Yeah.
I mean, just love beating the Jaguars. It'd be great to get another win at home. So that's going to do it for Texans Unlimited Live, presented by Verizon. Thanks to everyone for watching. Have yourselves a great game day, and go Texans.